Hi, today we're going to be factoring trinomials. In red here I have a trinomial, 2x squared plus x minus 15. Three terms, 1, 2, 3, thus the name trinomial. Before we factor it, I want to remind you that factoring and multiplying are opposite procedures. So here on the left, we're multiplying x plus 3 times x plus 5. I could use a box to help me organize the multiplication. So if I was to take x times x times x, I'd get x squared. X times 5 is 5x. X times 3, which would be here, is 3x, and 3 times 5 is 15. So when I multiply x plus 3 times x plus 5, I get x squared plus 8x plus 15, which is the stuff in the box. Now I'm going to factor, which is the opposite of what I just did. Here I'm trying to figure out what labels the edges of the box. What would I put here so that when I multiply the stuff on the top and the left edge, I get this trinomial? It's the opposite of what we just did. So to do that, you take your x squared term and put it in the first box, and take your constant term and put it in the last box. Here in these two upper boxes, you typically have x terms which will multiply this one. So I'll put an x and an x because x times x multiplies to x squared. And then here and here, I need two numbers that multiply out to 15. It's either 1 and 15 or 3 and 5. You could play around with that and convince yourself that you want a 3 and a 5. I'd get a 3x and a 5x. This combines to my 8x, which matches this term here. I need these to match this. So the answering to my factoring question is x plus 3 times x plus 5. Now I want you to stare at these two boxes and the work that you just did and understand that factoring and multiplying are opposites. All right, let's move on now to the question that was at the top of your paper. We're going to factor the trinomial 2x squared plus x minus 15. So your first step is to begin your box. Here I have my 2x squared. I put it in my first box. The negative 15 goes in my last box. Here and here, I put x terms that will multiply to this. So 2x times x gives me 2x squared. The hardest thinking is figuring out what goes where the green question marks are. You need two numbers that multiply out to negative 15. Over to the left, I've given you four combinations of factors that multiply out to negative 15. Which of those will work? Why don't you pause the video and try them. Okay, welcome back. Did you get that 3 and negative 5 work? 2x times 3 is 6x, and negative 5 times x is a negative 5x, and these combine to x. 1x is the same as x. So my answer is x plus 3, 2x minus 5. All right, I'd like you to try one on your own. I've set this up for you. Can you figure out what goes where the green question marks are? Pause the video and check in with me in a few minutes. All right, did you get negative 2 here and 4 below the 5x? Let's check that out. 5x times negative 2 is a negative 10x, and my 4 times my x is 4x. And these x terms combine to my negative 6x there. So my answer is x minus 2 times 5x plus 4. Lastly, we're going to factor a trinomial that has a negative x term and a positive constant term. I have set up the box for you. The hardest part is figuring out what goes where the question marks are. I need two numbers that multiply out to a positive 4. But I need these on the diagonal to add up to a negative 7x. So the conclusion you can make is that both of the numbers must be negative, because a negative times a negative will give me this positive number, and it'll also give me negatives here. And if I add two negatives, I'll get that negative 7 as the sign on my x term. Okay, did you get negative 1 and negative 4? This would give me a negative 3x here, a negative 4x there, which combines to my negative 7x. So my answer is x minus 1, 3x minus 4.